This episode of Man of Prestige, like let's say all those different possibilities. Maybe she's for the streets. Maybe she came from a bad family. She came from a non-nuclear family. I didn't know that. All this different fear running through your mind, right? If you have to ask me if she's the one, there's a good chance she's not the one. You're not feeling it. Now, you not feeling her, could that be a function of your dysfunction? Yes, of course, right? So it's bigger than this video, but I'm sure you can take something with that and run with it and see what you can do with it, right? Tip number 2, identify the warning signs of Oneitis. What is Oneitis? If you're clingy, you're needy, you're complaining, you're actively keeping scores with her, you are asking for validations from her over and over in a toxic manner. What does that look like? It's a toxic argument. Yeah, you have all the facts, you figure it out, you have access to all of the websites where all the stats. Oneitis, is she the one? Let's talk about it. Is she the one? I want to give you 3 tips, okay, on this topic. What is Oneitis? First of all, Oneitis is when you feel like there's one person in this world who will make everything better, and if they don't want to be with you, then your whole world is a waste. Okay, that's Oneitis. Okay, another way to say Oneitis is it's a concept called the myth of the one, right? Is that one person, and if I'm not with that one person, my life is over, or my life is a lot more meaningful if I'm with that one person. Okay, another word that a lot of people use is soulmate, right? So I'm a married man. I've been married for 14 years to my soulmate. Okay, so I may almost contradict myself in this video, okay, but if you listen close enough, I promise I'm not. Okay, there's a lot of these things comes down to attraction. If you have problems with romantic relationships, it's attraction issues. That's the bottom line. Now, another question is what caused the attraction issue? Now, we can blow that out into multiple different things, right? What is the reason why you're having attraction issues? If somebody doesn't want to be with you, it's because they're not attracted to you. If somebody doesn't want to have sex with you in a marriage, it's because they're not attracted to you, okay? If somebody decides to withhold intimacy from you, even though you've been in a marriage for 9 years, right? That's attraction issues, okay? Now, did you cause the attraction issues? No. Cause, your fault, right, wrong, black, white. These are things you want to make irrelevant in this conversation, okay? I get it. Your natural mind may want to make them relevant because you feel like somebody is hurting you. You feel like a victim. But if you feel like a victim, you cannot retain your power in the same breath, okay? So you want to definitely eliminate anything that seems like judgment, condemnation, okay, things like blame, guilt, right? Eliminate those kind of things from your mind. Let's really talk about it. Let's look at the nature of people in general, okay? As human beings, right, one of our core emotional needs is love and connection. And when I say love and connection, it's not always romance. For the most part, it's romance. You want somebody that you can cuddle up with, somebody that you feel like they're yours and you're theirs, and you have each other's back. And yes, from a romantic standpoint, and if that sounds like simping to you, so be it. You can name any. See, as a man of prestige, you know that labels are just labels. That's what they are, right? In the grand scheme of things, what we're looking at is your actions, right? Are you having fun? Are you getting the result? Are you getting to the result that you want, right? Or you're out here complaining like a bitch, right? So when I said bitch, I don't mean the ladies. I mean anyone who wants to call himself a man, alpha male, and they're actively complaining about what the other side or the other gender is doing. That's what I mean by a bitch. Okay? You want to hold the women accountable? There's a good chance that you're a bitch-made beta male. Okay? That was offensive. Yeah, you have the masculine core. Receive it and process it. Okay? Let's see what you can do with that. But I promise there's a bigger part of the conversation, so a little bit of jokes there, okay? But there are 3 tips I want to share with you when it comes to the Oneitis, the soulmate, the myth of the one, right? The truth is that it depends on what part or what phase in the relationship you are in, okay? The longer term you've been in the relationship, the more experience you have with that one relationship, not multiple relationships. With that one relationship, naturally, the more you get comfortable, the more you get complacent, the more you relax into the essence of the relationship. It's lovely, you're having a good time, and there are a lot of people having that. The problem is that the most noisy ones are the ones that are not having a good time. They're the one that make it to the internet, right? They're the one that make it to the red pill community in the chat rooms, talking about how women have hurt them so badly, right? I'm sorry if you've gone through that, so I don't want to shame you at all for that. But I want you to be aware of why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Okay, there's a good chance that you had the Oneitis. There's a good chance that you were too early in the relationship. You were stuck on one girl. Just a chance. Okay, there's no absolutes. Just a chance that you were stuck on it, right? So tip number 3: what is Oneitis, and is she the one? If you have to ask me if she's the one, she's probably not the one. See, when she's the one, you know. And as a man especially, you're willing to take the risk. Like, let's say all those different possibilities. Maybe she's for the streets. Maybe she came from a bad family. She came from a non-nuclear family. I didn't know that. All this different fear running through your mind, right? If you have to ask me if she's the one, there's a good chance she's not the one. You're not feeling it. Now, you not feeling her, could that be a function of your dysfunction? Yes, of course, right? So it's bigger than this video, but I'm sure you can take something with that and run with it and see what you can do with it, right? Tip number 2: identify the warning signs of Oneitis. What is Oneitis? If you're clingy, you're needy, you're complaining, you're actively keeping scores with her, you are asking for validations from her over and over in a toxic manner. What does that look like? It's a toxic argument. Yeah, you have all the facts, you figure it out. You have access to all of the websites where all the stats, the black statistics and all those things come from. You have all those facts, sure, but you engage in this toxic argument with her, right? Yeah? There's a good chance that you've settled into, this is your homie. You're treating her like the homie. You forgot that this was a romantic relationship. And she will not be, especially as a woman, she will not be able to tell you that that's what's going on subconsciously. She will not be able to tell you, like, stop arguing with me, that I'm going to lose attraction for you. She's not going to be able to tell you that. She's not supposed to be able to tell you that, right? That's why you call it romance. People are kind of like in some kind of, you are too, in some kind of trance, in some kind of, you're in a vibe, right? You're not thinking, you're just enjoying the vibe, right? And you enjoyed it so much, you became complacent, you start to argue, you treat her like the homie, and because you were stuck on one person, okay? Now, if you have the mindset that you have options, right? First of all, you will spend less energy on facts and figures when it comes to your romance. You'll be actively seducing her at any point in time because you're too busy anyway, and any chance you get to spend with her, you're valuing that and you're present. And when you're present, you're not stuck in your emotions and calling it facts and figures, right? So with that being said, there are many signs. I mentioned a few signs. Validation, you're seeking validation from her all the time. When you're actively arguing with a woman, that tells me that you care about what she thinks, right? There's nothing wrong with caring about what she thinks, but there's a place you get to that is overkill, that will reduce attraction, right? So Oneitis precisely does reduce attraction because it shows off that you don't have anything else to do with your time, and anything that seems readily available is going to be taken for granted. Tip number 1: provide tips to overcome Oneitis and deal with it in a healthy way. All right, so Oneitis, the fact that you're zoned in on your girl and you really like her, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't feel reciprocation, if you feel like she doesn't have the same level of interest or higher, that feel is going to create lack of confidence in you, and that's going to reduce attraction. She's going to feel that vibe. Okay, so what do you do? How do you handle this? If you're in a place where you feel like you're stuck on the idea of a soulmate, you're not keeping your options open because it's early. I'm talking about when it's early in the relationship, right? You're not keeping your options open. If you're in that space, then do exactly the opposite of that. Keep your options open, right? What does that look like? You're not blowing up her phone when she doesn't want to talk. If she doesn't want to talk, so be it. You have options. You have to at least put yourself in a position where you feel like you have options. When she starts to match your energy in terms of how much you like her, there's nothing wrong with reciprocating. Then you reward good behavior, and that's how people build romance in a healthy way. Okay, if you approach it in a way that you start to feel like you're the only one approaching this, you're gonna start blaming her, and guess who's to blame? No one really, but you should take responsibility for that because you did all of the attracting of that situation. Okay, that's something I want you to pay attention to. It's an attraction issue. Oneitis will reduce attraction, especially when it's earlier on in the marriage or especially singlehood, right? But the longer you stay in a healthy relationship, the oneitis thing dissipates. It's not really a real thing because this is a person that's really you. You're interwoven, you understand each other, and it's like one life. It's like that's when the scripture says becoming one, it's real, because a lot of things, the idea of being together as one is normalized and you're not forcing it. The bottom line is that it's a function of time. When the oneitis becomes a non, the word I'm looking for, when it becomes a non-issue, right? It's after it's whatever, you're living with this person. They're not just homie. Innately, you know this is your romantic partner, but also you can be friends. There's a difference between friends and treating them like a homie. Homie means we're gonna sit down, argue, and have a drink over it. There's a place where you get to that's not really a big deal too, right? But earlier on, especially if you have a level of insecurity about the relationship, you want to calm down. Don't make a first person. Don't put people on a pedestal. They will fall off, unfortunately. That's really the whole point of oneitis, right? You put people on pedestal, including myself, including yourself, you will fall off. It's too much expectations attached to that.